And now we are moving on to our fourth lesson, which is solve problems using angles, angle relationships. So let's just start by identifying the types of angles that we have in this lesson. So first of all, we have the adjacent angles. Adjacent angles, what you guys need to know about them, they are two angles near each other. They share a common side. They have a common side. So just like imagine you and your neighbor, what's separating between you guys? There is a wall in between. Your class and the next class, they are being separated with a wall. So these angles are called adjacent angles. Why? Because they share a common side. So vertical angles, on the other hand, they are opposite to each other. They are opposite. At the same time, they are congruent. What does it mean, the word congruent? It means they have the same measure. They are equal in size. Okay? So, for example, I have angle 1 and angle 2. They are congruent. Usually, vertical angles, they are in the shape of X. So, whenever you guys see an X, whether it was a thin X, a wide X, so that means the angles that you have around are vertical angles. Again, vertical angles, they have the same measure, just like angle 1 and 2. They are equal in size. Angle 3 and 4 are vertical as well. That's why we call them congruent. Okay, third type will be the complementary angles. Complementary angles, they are two angles. If you guys add them, you will get 90 degrees, because as you can see here, this is a right angle. So usually you have a square in the questions that tells you what type is it. So it's going to be complementary. And how you're going to write the equation for this one, you will write angle 1 plus angle 2 equals to 90 degrees. Okay, we will use this one, this part, inshallah, to solve our upcoming equations to find x. Last type, it's called the supplementary angles. Supplementary angles are basically two angles. If you guys add them, they will equal, their sum is equal to 180. So the equation will be angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 180 degrees. Okay, for the vertical angles, you'll have to write it like that. If you have an equation, angle 1 plus, no, without the plus directly, we're going to put angle 1 equal to angle 2. Whatever the angle is, it could be a number, it could be an expression with variables, and so on. Okay, so this is the right way to write the equation. Number 1, vertical angles, you have to equal the angles. Complementary, you have to add them. Their sum add to 90. Supplementary, their sum will add to 180. Now, let's start with the first type, adjacent angles. For the part adjacent angles, you guys just have to know how to name, how to give me a pair of adjacent angles, or one pair at least. So to name adjacent angles, we use 3 letters. So for example, I want this angle. I cannot go and call it, it's called angle 40. No, that's not accepted. You have to give me the name of this angle. So this angle, this one here, it's called the angle symbol. This is the symbol that we use for angles because it's like an angle, you know, it's between two rays. So this angle is called angle AOB. Or some of you may write angle BOA. So it's going to be the same naming. So this is the first angle. We have angle AOB. You need to see which angle is right next to it. So the angle that's right next to it will be this one. We call it, we will put in the middle and angle BOC. Okay? Angle BOC. So these two angles are adjacent angles. They are non-overlapping. They are just being separated with a common side. That's why we call them adjacent. Next to each other, between them there is a common side. There is a wall in between. Okay, so this is here the first pair. They asked you for 2 pairs. So the second pair will be, that's the first pair. Second one will be, for example, I will take this angle with this one. Okay, so this angle is called BOC or COB, and COD, angle COD. This is the right way to write the angles. Please make sure that you put and in between or comma or something. Okay, can I call, okay, let me erase all of this. Tamam. Can I call here, can I say this angle and this angle are adjacent? No, they're not. They are definitely not adjacent. Can I say this angle and this angle here and this angle are adjacent? Like some of you may tell me, Miss, yeah, this angle with this angle, they are adjacent. No, they're not adjacent because they are overlapping. They have to be non-overlapping, okay? They cannot be overlapping. They have to be totally separate, okay? So these two types are not adjacent angles. Okay, moving on to this one, we will use the same way to name an angle. You guys, in this question, you have two options. Either you use the 3 letters to name it, and here, you guys are lucky. They named it for you. They said this angle is angle Z, this angle is angle Y, and this one is angle X. So you can tell me angle X and angle Y, they are adjacent. Or the second pair, angle Y and angle Z, they are adjacent. Okay, this is another way to name it. But when do we use it? If they name the angles for me, if they put numbers at least. But most probably you're gonna get like this one, you will have to use letters. So you can say angle, and instead of saying angle X, we say angle QOP with angle QOR. Okay, so let's practice on using the letters. So yeah. Now the second part of the lesson is how to find the value of X. To find the value of X with angles, you guys, step number 1, you need to identify the angle. You need to know what type of angles you guys are dealing with. Number 2, you need to write the equation. And number 3, you need to solve it. So let's start with this one. They are making here an X sign. So that means these angles are vertical angles. So what do you know about vertical angles? Remember what you studied? Vertical angles, we know that they are what? Equal. So all I have to do, take the first angle, 125, equal it with 5x plus 30. And now we are going to solve this 2-step equation. How we are going to solve it? Step number 1, we will undo addition or subtraction. We will get rid of the constant, get rid of the 30, that's with 5x. So the opposite of 30 is negative 30 from both sides. Okay, so 30 minus 30 will cancel each other, and then 5x will be equal to 125 minus 30, that will be 95. Okay, and then after this, we still have to do a second step because X is still not alone. We need to isolate X. We need to keep it alone. So we need to divide both sides with 5. 5 divided by 5, they cancel each other. So X equals to 19 degree. Okay, you have to put the degree at the end because we're talking about angles. So that's it, you guys. This is how you find the value of X for the first type. Now, let's move on to the second type. As you can see, the second type, it's a very huge angle. Obviously, it's a supplementary angle. Supplementary. So what do you know about supplementary? Let's create our equation. The first angle is X. The second angle is 109. So I know if I add these two angles, I'm supposed to end up with 180 degree. And this is, you guys are lucky, it's a 1-step equation. All you have to do is minus 109, and then you guys are done. So 180 minus 109, X equals to 71 degree. Okay. And finally, the third type, it's called complementary. How did I know? Basically, you guys know from this little square here, because it tells you it's a right angle. So complementary angles, what does that mean? It means that if you add X plus 2 plus 25, it's gonna be equal to, let's just get more space here. So x plus 2 plus 25 equals to 90 degree. Okay, and now let's simplify. Before you start solving the equation, you guys can tell that 2 and 25, they are like terms. They're both numbers. So why don't we combine them together? So the equation will be x plus 2 plus 25. It's a 27 equals 90. And now let's solve the equation. Minus 27 from both sides. So 90 minus 27, x will be equal to 63 degree. Okay. So again, this is how you solve, how you find the value of x in each type of angles. Number one, again, like I said, you need to identify the type of angles that you have. Number two, write the equation correctly. You guys, if you write the equation correctly, this is like your life will be easier because definitely you will get the correct answer at the end. Okay, so it's all about writing the equation correctly. And finally, number three, solving it. It could be a two-step equation like example one, or it could be a one-step equation. That means one step and you're done. You add or subtract and that's it. Okay, so that's it for the first, for our fourth lesson, 10.4. Okay, now finally moving on to 10.6, which is solving problems involving area of circle. So first of all, you need to know these definitions. You need to know what's the meaning of a diameter, the parts of the circle. So the distance, you guys, the distance from the center to the surface of the circle, it's called the radius. We usually refer to it with letter R. So this line is a radius. This one is a radius. The distance from here to here, that's a radius. That's a radius. So any distance from the center to the surface, we call it a radius. Okay, now what does the diameter mean? Diameter means it's the distance across the whole circle passing through the center. Okay, so be careful. Can I call this one here a diameter or radius? I cannot, because it's not passing through the center. It must pass through the center. Okay, so the whole thing is called a diameter. We refer to it as letter D, radius with R, and that's it. Area, of course, it's the space inside the shape. So first of all, we need to know the formula for that we use to find the area of the circle, which is area equals pi r squared. Now, pi, you have three options. Either you leave pi as it is, or either you substitute the value of pi and then do your math. Pi has two values. Pi, it has two values. The famous value, which is 3.14. This is the famous value. Or pi could be equal to 22/7. Okay, so pi has two values. Either you use the decimal to represent pi, or either you use the fraction 22/7. These are fixed numbers, they cannot be changed. Okay, now let's do some, I will show you now 3 parts in this lesson. Let's start with the first task. So the first task here, they're gonna tell you find the area in terms of pi. If they tell you in terms of a 3.14, you guys, then you will have to do your calculations. You will have to be good at multiplying decimals. If they tell you use 22/7, then you will have to be good at multiplying and dividing with fractions. And most probably it's gonna be pi. So you guys find the area in terms of pi. First of all, we're gonna put the formula area equals pi r squared. Please make sure that you write the formula, it's mandatory. Okay, next, they said use pi, so I'm gonna keep pi the same. I'm not gonna change it. Now I need the radius. As you can see, 6 yards here represents, this is the diameter. So how am I going to get the radius from the diameter? I know what's the relation, like this distance here, this is from here to here, that's my radius. So as you can tell, what's the relation between the radius and the diameter? Basically, the radius is half the diameter. So in order to find the radius, all you have to do, you can do it mentally, or you can say, I will divide d divided by 2, which is 6 divided by 2 equals 3. Or you can do it mentally and say it's going to be 3 squared. Okay? So again, be careful. Read the question carefully. Tell whether they're giving you the radius or the diameter. You cannot go and just substitute 6 directly. You have to tell, is it the right radius or not? So the radius here, it's a 3. Half of 6 is a 3, and that's it. Now let's do the math. 3 to the power of 2, what does that mean? We all know 3 to the power of 2 or 3 exponent 2, it's the same as a 3 times a 3. Okay, it's not 3 times 2, no. It's the exponent tells you how many times the number is being multiplied by itself. So it's going to be 3 times a 3, which is equal to pi times 9. 3 times a 3 equals 9. So the final answer will be 9 pi yard squared. That's it. So again, we solved it in terms of pi. We kept pi as it is. Okay. Next question, we are going to apply the same idea. We will put the formula, area equals pi r squared. So here pi is pi, r squared, as you can see here, they gave you the radius, it's 2 squared. So it's going to be pi times 2 squared, it's 4. Why? Because 2 times 2 equals 4. So the final answer will be 4 pi feet squared. And that's it, you guys, we are done. Okay, so this is the first 2 parts of the lesson. When they give you the radius directly, all you have to do, find the area. And the second part, when they give you the diameter, then you'll have to find your radius. Third part of the lesson is, we don't know what's the radius. They're gonna ask you, find the radius. So they gave you the area, but the radius is missing. We don't know what's the radius. So step number 1, we will write our formula. Area equals pi r squared. Now I will substitute what I know. Do we know what's the area? Yeah, we know it. It's a 28.26 equals pi. The radius, we don't know it. We're going to keep it r squared. Okay, now we ended up with an equation. How are we going to solve this equation? In order, you guys, we're going to solve this equation, we need to isolate the variable. The variable, as you can see, it's r, because pi is a number. So we will divide both sides by pi to get rid of it. Okay, so pi divided by pi is 1. So that means r squared is equal 28.26 divided by pi. So here, you guys, unfortunately, we have to write the value of pi. So we're going to change it into, we will use a 3.14. And if you guys do a long division, the answer will be 9. Okay? The answer will be 9. So we ended up with r squared equal to 9. Okay. I think we are not done, because this is r squared and we want the radius alone. I want r, I don't want the value of r squared. So this is, you guys, something you took in semester 1. The exponent, if you have the exponent 2, if the exponent is 2, what does that mean? That means it's related to what? To something called the square root. So we will take the square root for both sides. So the square root for r squared, that means it's going to be r. Why? Because r times r equal r squared. And now, what is the square root of 9? What does the square root mean? It means, think of a number, when you multiply by itself, will give you 9. So 1 times 1, try it, it's going to be 1. 2 times 2, 4. 3 times 3, 9. So r will be equal to 3 feet. Okay, r will be equal to 3 feet. This is, you guys, how you find r. You start with the formula, you substitute the area value, and then you replace pi with a 3.14. You solve the equation in terms of r, and then finally you take the square root. Okay, so for example, the question could be asking you, you guys, the question could be asking you, I could give you the question with the solution and everything, and I could ask you, can you guys tell me what's the mistake? So here, your job is to judge on my work and tell me the mistake, miss, is that you wrote R incorrectly. The square root of 9, it's not 5, it's supposed to be 3. Okay? So you could be having different questions about similar to this question. They could be asking you to find the radius, or they could give you everything solved and you guys have to discover what's the mistake. Okay, so this is regarding the lesson 10.6. These are the main 3 ideas: how to find the area from a diameter, from the radius, and then how to find the radius itself. So that's it. Wish you all the best, inshallah, and see you when I see you.